On the morning of February 28, 2026, one of the most significant events in modern Middle Eastern history unfolded in less than an hour. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the man who had ruled Iran with an iron fist for nearly 4 decades, was dead, killed at his own office, in his own compound, in the heart of Tehran. And today, we're breaking down exactly how it happened, why it happened, and what it means for the world going forward. Before we get into the strike itself, you need to understand who this man was. Because this wasn't just any political figure. Ali Khamenei was born in 1939 in Mashhad, northeastern Iran. He was a cleric, a revolutionary, and a survivor. Back in 1981, a bomb went off during one of his speeches at a mosque in Tehran. It permanently paralyzed his right arm, but he lived, and he kept going. After the death of Ayatollah Khamenei, the man who led Iran's 1979 Islamic Revolution, Khamenei stepped up to become supreme leader in 1989. That's 37 years of absolute authority over Iran. He controlled the military, the judiciary, the government, and the country's spiritual direction. Under his leadership, Iran built a nuclear program that brought it to the edge of weapons capability. He funded and armed proxy militias across the region: Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, the Houthis in Yemen. He oversaw the brutal suppression of protesters, including more than 7,000 people killed during mass protests that began in late 2025. He was, by any measure, one of the most powerful and consequential leaders in the Middle East. And he was deeply, deeply hated by a large portion of his own people. So how did we get here? Let's rewind. The chain of events really starts with October 7th, 2023. The Hamas attack on Israel that killed nearly 1,200 people and took 251 hostages. Iran backed Hamas. Iran backed Hezbollah, and Israel knew it. Over the following 2 years, Israel systematically dismantled Iran's network of proxies. Hezbollah's top leadership was killed. Syria's Assad, a key Iranian ally, fell from power in December 2024. Iran was losing its regional influence piece by piece. Then, in June 2025, Israel launched a direct military campaign against Iran's nuclear program, striking facilities, killing scientists and generals. The US joined in, obliterating 3 major nuclear enrichment sites. Iran retaliated, and a 12-day war of missiles and airstrikes followed. After that war, Khamenei went increasingly underground. His compound was reportedly so fortified that his bunker's elevator took more than 5 minutes to reach the bottom floor. He became nearly unreachable. But here's what changed everything: the CIA. According to reporting from the New York Times, citing anonymous US officials, American intelligence gathered information about a Saturday morning meeting at Khamenei's Tehran compound, a location that also houses the offices of Iran's president and the National Security Council. Khamenei and his senior military commanders were all going to be there, together, at the same time. This was the window. Now, here's an important detail. Israel had actually wanted to assassinate Khamenei back during the June 2025 war. Trump vetoed it. He reportedly posted a warning that Khamenei was an easy target, but that the US wasn't going to take him out, at least not for now. But by February 2026, the calculation had changed. The CIA's intelligence moved up the timing of the Saturday operation, and Israel launched, reportedly unilaterally, but using US intelligence, in what the IDF called Operation Roar of the Lion. At around 9:40 a.m. Tehran time on February 28th, the airstrikes began. Satellite imagery showed Khamenei's compound in central Tehran severely damaged. Iranian state media initially said he was steadfast and firm. Iran's foreign ministry insisted he was safe and sound. They were stalling. Netanyahu went on television that evening saying there were growing signs that Khamenei was dead. Trump posted on Truth Social saying Khamenei had been killed, praising US highly sophisticated tracking systems. And then, on Sunday, March 1st, it was confirmed. Iranian state media announced Khamenei's death. The broadcaster on state TV broke down in tears as he declared that the supreme leader had been martyred. Iran declared 40 days of mourning and a week of public holidays. Khamenei had been killed at his workplace, in his office, not a bunker. He had apparently felt secure enough to be carrying out normal duties when the strike hit. Also killed in the broader operation, multiple commanders of the Revolutionary Guard, senior nuclear program officials, and Iran's defense minister, among others. Trump said, "The people that make all the decisions, most of them are gone." The reaction around the world was immediate and divided. In Iran itself, it was a split screen. Thousands of people poured into the streets to celebrate, people who had lived under decades of repression. At the same time, thousands of regime loyalists mourned, and Iran vowed revenge. Iranian President Pezeshkian declared Khamenei a martyr and promised that those responsible will regret their participation. Iran launched retaliatory strikes across the region, hitting U.S. military bases in Kuwait, Qatar, the UAE, and Bahrain. Iran also struck targets in Cyprus and reportedly a French base in the UAE, a deliberate escalation to pull Europe into the conflict. Internationally, Russia's Putin called it a cynical murder. Turkey's Erdogan said he was saddened. Pakistan's Prime Minister offered condolences. Ukraine's official account simply wrote, "Nothing beats the death of a dictator." The UN Secretary General said an opportunity for diplomacy had been squandered and warned that military action risks a chain of events that no one can control. This is the big question, and honestly, no one knows for certain. Iran's constitution has a plan for this. An interim 3-member council consisting of the president, the head of the judiciary, and a jurist from the Guardian Council would take over until the Assembly of Experts appoints a new supreme leader. But experts are divided on what that looks like in practice. Some say the Revolutionary Guard, Iran's most powerful military force, is likely to dominate whatever comes next, potentially creating an even more hardline, militarized regime. Others believe that without Khamenei, who is the main obstacle to compromise, there may eventually be space for a more moderate leadership. One expert called this the first open, direct assassination of a world leader by a state government in more than a century. The implications are enormous, not just for Iran, but for how states around the world think about targeted assassinations as a geopolitical tool. And there's still an active war ongoing. Trump said heavy bombing of Iran would continue throughout the week or as long as necessary. In 37 years of absolute power, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei survived assassinations, wars, sanctions, and mass uprisings. He outlasted American presidents, Israeli prime ministers, and regional rivals. But in the end, a CIA intelligence tip and an Israeli airstrike on a Saturday morning was all it took. The world has changed. Where Iran goes from here, and whether this leads to more war or eventually to some form of resolution, is the question that will define the coming months. If you found this video informative, hit the like button and subscribe. We cover the biggest events in global politics with the depth they deserve. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this makes the world more or less stable? See you in the next one.